That is their map pick, and this is, again, it seems like SRN's playfield no matter what, so they should get the win here. We should be going to map 3.
Yeah, we certainly would expect it. You've got SRN hovering that jet. You presume it's going to be locked in. Something else, we talked a little bit about the KO for Sayuri and how, and you guys were really excited about that.
Yeah, it looks like both sides are locking in the KO as well. I love that, setting up those beautiful long-range pop flashes. But I'm most curious about this Cypher for MIBR side. Hardly seeing any Cyphers at all, but I would have thought that Bastarda would have busted out the Cypher on Haven as well if she still likes this agent. But I'm curious what MIBR have cooked up, because with the changes coming through for Cypher, it is really hard to hold down the fort.
I think something else we touched on earlier in the show, this will be the first opportunity for us to look at the reworked Abyss. So a couple of changes to the Cypher, a couple of changes to the map as well. Dryad, your thoughts on the Cypher pick?
I don't think it's the strongest as well. I'm kind of surprised that they're going for this pick. I feel like there's so many other possibilities, but maybe it's a little bit of comfort when it comes to Bastarda and what she's comfortable in this map.
Well, let's see if we're going to make it to map 3 or if the series ends right here. Tom and Mitch, the mic's yours.
Yes, it is very much time to find out if we get to go all the way to split or if this is going to be the end of that upper bracket run for MIBR. A team that so many people had high hopes for here today, Tom. But you got to say, I'm impressed by what GX pulled out in that first map. Has it convinced you they're favorites coming into Abyss?
No.
Okay, I thought so.
Yeah, no. Yeah, unlike you, I don't like to celebrate too early, as we've seen with any time you supported Enzo. Anyway, moving swiftly on, I do think going into this map, obviously we've seen the changes to the map, but you do feel like with the compositions that both teams are running, there's a good chance that it's going to play fairly similarly to how it did before. And I think that is where you have to look at this as a heavy advantage, like a map where it was 2 previous defeats in dominant fashion for the side of GX, whereas very, very dominant victories in the last chance qualifier for the side of MIBR. So they're definitely favored, but the desk we're talking about, they don't believe that they've necessarily shown up to the party just yet. Maybe if that continues, and if Smurfette keeps going strong, if we keep seeing those high impact plays from the likes of Toki and Eva, then who knows? This could easily be a 2-0.
Without a doubt. Even though I came in today thinking maybe GX could take the cake, you know? Only one predicting them, whatever. Don't want to toot my own horn, but I will anyways. For this series, I really want to see 3 maps. I want to see split. I want to see the ideas as well. And we talk about ideas, at least on this map, it is going to be your Astra versus your Omen and Astra ideas. I like this from GX. So much to work with. On the defensive side, I think they'll find more of that value when they come to the attack, with how much control they're going to be able to deny early and how difficult it will be for initiators to reclaim. But here in the pistol, MIBR have already got space, a plant, and they're looking for deep aggression. SRN about to step through that smoke perhaps, or as the smoke fades, look for the fight, but Toki waiting on the other side, grabs the opening of the round. An immediate response from MIBR though, leaves Eva all alone. 1v3, damage done to Bastarda, but it's not even gonna come close.
Yeah, definitely the start they were looking for. I think the last map wasn't necessarily damning with, I would say, the first like 16 rounds or so, but the last like chunk that we saw going GX's way, it kind of looked like MIBR got a little bit boomed. This round to me is just like, okay, we're back. We're now on comfort turf. We've managed to win it comfortably. We're getting aggressive. We're willing to play into the opponent as well. And whatever you can't see there, they're definitely pumped up. 1-0. And well, in case you couldn't tell already, GX have decided to stack. Somewhat literally.
I am. So one of the reasons, obviously, I say as well, I think they've been seeing.
Every single one of them just got tagged by a single Sova dart. That's hilarious.
It's not that surprising, I suppose, that MIBR have decided to rotate.
I don't think I've ever seen a full team just get hit like that. Like, everybody was like, right, I'll move out the way.
The totem pole has been dismantled, but look, it's being relocated, and it's gotten there much earlier than expected, already finding one. Melissa doing very well to clean that up, though. Look at that, just one loss. And the rest carry through what they have in their hands. 2-0 start for MIBR. And yeah, I think for GX, coming into these rifle rounds, the worry really is playing without that Sentinel. Obviously, MIBR, you're having your Cypher over your Omen, over that double smokes. There are going to be some gaps. And with New Abyss, there's certainly the opportunity to still hold those. but I am a little bit worried about how much value MIBR could find in this first half.
Even on the last map, they were running almost like a double lurk. Like you had Bastarda that would take space and in pockets, and then you had Lisa who was just rotating into the very back line. So they have the players that are very capable of finding those gaps, and I definitely agree. Like I'm a little bit nervous that obviously this comp feels like it plays into the proactive style of GX, so I don't mind the comp, but they just have to be very wary of those two players in particular.
Take flight.
Exactly, yeah, when it's found so much value already. Coming into round 3, it's a very strong buy for MIBR, and they're backing it up, putting through the Hunter's Fury. It's found a tag, Sarah's being hunted, and she will be dropped. An immediate advantage found for the attackers. MIBR from this point, especially knowing you're not running into Sentinel util when you hit, they could just decide to group as 5, but instead the B fake is called for, and that's going to put numbers back to even.
Whether or not there's any level of hesitation from Ness, there it is. She was immediately rotating, now goes back to watch your own smoke, but Melissa is already out of it. The fake worked at least enough. Get them that opener and get them the space, and now for the 3 players left on the retake, bear in mind that this is technically a bonus of sorts, but not really with the amount of rifles that are in play. You almost have to question for the defense, is this worth going for? Can you find a gap?
Certainly seems like they're looking for it. Already dropped out of heaven, yep. Full commitment. Something has to block off main. The smoke.
Hello.
And, oh, that's nasty. The little cam on the spike is going to find a tag. Shock Dart goes through. Damage being done. Lots of damage being done. Melissa's got the double. They tried to body block the shots, but that doesn't quite work with the Shock Darts.
Okay, I feel like at the moment she's completed Sova. We saw a full 5 scan of every single player in round number 2. She's 9-0.
Hunter's Fury opening.
Hunter's Fury opening, and then a double Shock Dart kill. Like, that's it. Just end the game here. She has completed Sova in 3 rounds of the match. Insanity. And when you look at the scoreboard, it's actual madness. She is 9-0. The next highest player in the server has 2 kills.
Well, if you exclude her, I think it's 10 kills total on the server. So yeah, it's almost 50% of the kills that have happened so far. A 3-0 start for MIBR. GX down to pistols, so a likely 4th on the board. This is certainly a big difference from what we saw over on Haven. Certainly from the second half of Haven as well, where GX seemed to have all the momentum, and MIBR seemed destined to fall, really. But here, well, they have risen again. Completely different beast.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning as well that not long ago, last time they played within Brazil, SRN lost 21-23 and got 50 kills. So maybe Melissa's trying to do that in regulation. 50 kills in regulation would be impressive at SRN. Maybe looking to try and deny that, and any aggression in this round, any fight in this round seems non-existent.
Okay, there you go, just as you speak. But I mean, it is definitely feeling like a
Enemy remaining.
completely different affair to what we saw on that first map when it came to pistol rounds for MIBR. Unless Sarah's about to almost pull out an ace and fall at the final hurdle, it should be a 4-0 start. The team who made it here through that LCQ, a grueling route. They took the road less traveled by, and well, they certainly aren't out of the woods, even if they do find this. Still have to go all the way to split, but Abyss is shaping up to be a map that looks pretty strong, at least on this attack. Again, we have the disadvantages for GX with the comp that they've brought in. I think this does play more towards their attack. It certainly brings a lot of problems to the defensive side. And I think we're not even at the point where we've seen those problems really exploited, with MIBR playing a little bit more direct in a lot of these fights.
The worry, though, is that when you look at the stats of their last couple of matches playing this, well, in the last 2 games they played, they only managed 3 rounds on the attack total.
MIBR?
No.
Oh, GX. Okay.
GX.
Yeah.
Like, GX were really struggling on this map. That's the thing. I feel like it felt like the veto was a pick your poison, and the poison that was picked is one that MIBR are incredibly comfortable on. They normally, well, I think the last 4 times they played this map, they have won the attack side 9-3. So they are very consistent in their manner of winning the attack side to an exact digit. But as of right now, well, if this ended 9-3, I wouldn't necessarily be surprised. We're yet to see what GX have to offer on this defense, and while the pressure looking like it's already about to come in onto that A side.
Oh, it certainly is. The dive in as SRN takes control. The rest of the squad eventually going to go through to me.
Take flight.
They haven't found any picks off the back of it. GX are playing pretty passive, putting through the drone afterwards to confirm the fight's still here. Toki grabs one through the smoke, but an immediate trade as the smoke faded and left her out in the open. GX again, they've halted this play towards spawn, hoping that Ness can find value, and what a position! Tucked in just on time, looking for another challenge, and it will be Eva to find it as Ness lands SRN on backside. Bastarda surrounded, denied the ace in the previous, and this time it will be the same. No clutch for MIBR. GX finally on the board.
That's a huge play from Ness. The only player that would be able to get over the trip that was holding the backline, and the full faith in it from MIBR ended up being their undoing. Because Ness TP'd past it and just had a wonderful flank. Even still, what she does from here is impressive. The first kill was free, but anything else along the way was all her, creating space for the rest of the team. That's a... Well, that's a round one by her. So let's see if that can be the start of something a little bit more. Of course, with how clean things have been for MIBR, they are coming in with rifles and even an operator on the attack side. It's going to be one for Smurfette as well. I had the expectation it could be there on the last map. Definitely seems like a plan here, and she'll get out with a good start, but a trade back already.
Yeah, the idea here was that they'd continue that push towards A after she dashes out. The value would be found by Ness, and Ness can stay here for most of the round. Having the ultimate for the instant rotation, which will be needed. Take a look at the B site. Pressure being put on there. Cage for the cross. Bastarda's going to go and meet them, and this is going to be a hit straight onto the site, held by only Toki. And there's no one close to her. They know where she is. Hunter's Fury chasing her down, and the ult isn't alone. Blade Storm was following it up, and Lisa swings in the open. Toki was being pushed on 3 fronts.
Yeah.
Couldn't find the fight on any of them.
Yeah, I think she was even stunned up by Lisa in the back line. Oh, wonderful flick from SRN. Always dangerous. And that danger cannot be stopped. 4 kills in the take of the B site. And well, what was a quick blip in the last round goes straight back to regular programming.
When you see SRN standing up, I mean, I think almost every time GX are going for that timeout right after. Big round.
I think you do that if SRN's sitting down as well.
Oh, but that confidence is really building up on that side. And even after that stellar performance, which look at this, the dash into the quick tap on Smurfette to close it out. That's got to feel good. But then you think further, you think about the fact that MIBR 5-1 in the lead, and even after that play, SRN isn't the top fragger. Melissa still 9-1, only died once. That KD's going hard.
I like the calls in that round as well, because as you said, the bait and switch setup from GX was definitely not a bad one. But I think it was just a pure reaction of being able to find Sarah. Like, you know that the player who's getting you information around that B side of the map, because she was playing towards mid and B, and the potential denial of the knife, okay, all of that is now gone off the pick that SRM found by being patient in middle. You know there's an opening there, and you know with the Blade Storm that that opening can be exploited. Fantastic start, and there is no surprise that we're seeing the pause, because, as said, if we're going off what happened in the past over in EMEA, the attack side wasn't particularly good for the side of GX.
Help.
And if they get dominated in this first half, well, I guess it doesn't really matter how good the attack side is. You'd kind of expect that MIBR on their own map choice would be able to get a few rounds at least.
I mean, there's always hope, I suppose, that on the attack with a new meta that things can change. I don't necessarily think that I have full faith in that. With the way that this meta shapes up, you get much more heavily punished. You have less chances to re-hit sites. You have to be more intentional with where you're moving, and combined with also having no sentinel for back cover. There's going to be a lot for MIBR to exploit. Nice flash popped here. Pistols looking to take advantage. The element of surprise of a bit of a risky play, but Lisa's picked up all the pieces as a few players were pushed back. Oh no! SRN's alive? SRN's alive! How is SRN alive? And even goes hunting them down with a shorty. That's ridiculous. Plot armor in play.
Spike plant.
Sometimes luck just isn't on your side, and other times it is. SRN was shut down Spurvet, who I think had just brought in the Blade Storm as well, so it hasn't got any better, and it's going to end up as clean as can be. Lisa now putting herself further up on the board. 6-1, 4 kills for her. And well, we're looking to see if there's any breaks on this train at this point, because right now it is looking very, very comfortable for MIBR.
No, right now there's no stopping them. I mean, in that round, SRN should have went down. Ends up being the one to delete the Blade Storm, which was the only thing that had any real threat on the side of GX.
Careful.
6-1 start. We haven't got high hopes for the attack side of GX, and, well, looks like our wish might be coming through with Split on the horizon. Still quite a bit to go, but this hill is becoming a mountain for GX, and at some stage it's going to be too steep. We need to pick up the pace soon.
You can see even just trying to bait sound cues and implant the starter into positions. This was something we spoke about at the very beginning of the match that could become dangerous without having that Sentinel in play. Almost just placing her in for the backstab. Immediate usage of both the Null Command and the Cosmic Divide, but the Cosmic Divide is almost purely for bait purposes. It's like, okay, they've sectioned off this part of the map,
Spike planted.
but they still have all the info. They still have all the sound. They know where these players are coming from because of the player that they implanted earlier in the round.
Now doors open. Now they know, and SRN goes down. GX with the upper hand. Hunter's Fury is online. Do they want to put it through? The Flood is already taking place, so there's no time for it. A full battle with 2 players up in heaven. One already spotted in the form of Bastarda. Lisa lands one up in hand. Another for Lisa. Triple kill after the 4K in the previous. And it looked like they were on shaky ground, but standing tall in the end. MIBR 7-1 up. There really is no stopping this squad.
It seems like we're just having a battle for who can put up the biggest rounds. This was super impressive from Lisa. And yeah, 2-for-1 collat in the middle of all of the madness. It definitely did feel like there was a little bit of luck involved in that one, but even still, she had 2 teammates standing up top. 3 players now make their way to 9 kills on the board. We were talking about at the beginning how Melissa had nobody anywhere near her. Well, luckily, the players now near her are her teammates.
One suppressed.
Round 9. Pistols for GX, and really, the next round, round 10 onwards, it's got to be a sea of Cyan with GX taking every round. Otherwise, this is going to be an incredibly difficult second half for them. They're already fighting against the odds with their previous performances. The Starda is going to be dropped here. I talked about the next round. They do start this with an opening, but with Toki going down and the spike plant in, this again becomes quite difficult.
Oh, you could just see the confidence as well. Everybody looking to take up fights. You ask for a Sea of Cyan, maybe you'll get a Sea of Sayuri instead. Nope, that shot won't connect, but luckily everybody else is there to do the damage. A little bit more of a costly round, but at this stage that doesn't matter for MIBR. They have such an absurd amount in their account. Oh, well, the only problem they might have with it is hitting max cash too often.
No, I mean, could be another problem. They're winning these rounds so easily. Melissa might fall asleep. She was 9-0 in round 3. She's 9-1 now.
Yeah.
She almost got a kill there with the shock dart, by the way. Like, she's been putting up the assists. The damage has been there. The reveals have been there. Finding a little bit of space, but just getting bored, honestly, as everyone else just cleans up. As Lisa finds, like, multi-kills round after round. SRN's always there.
Look, if you all win 3 rounds apiece, you win the game. So she did her work at the beginning. Now it's someone else's chance. She's a generous teammate, as many Sovas are. Ever with a decent amount of early info. Hunter's Fury being thrown in. Sayuri already took down Ness. The aggression is waited for. In fact, they've even spotted the second player, but Sarah does well.
Spike down B.
Even while revealed, there's a flank coming in as well. An opportunity opportunity maybe for Smurfette to try and shut down a player on the other side, but SRN instead has come in, and Lisa is just waiting for her. Leaving one standing. Bastarda, of course, always in the back, always behind them. We mentioned the problems she could cause this. It's only the last kill of the round, but they're not going to mind. 9-1. An absolute clinic, and GX, after a stellar first map, have gone missing.
And even in there, to touch on the fact that Bastarda finding the ult, popping that through, that stopped the flank from really having any sort of impact. Because, yeah, Smurfette was flanking up behind. Lisa was under pressure. But then Bastarda reveals them all and goes, oh, there's one coming behind you. You can take that first fight onto the box and then just spin around. So the information game there, so important. As we move on to round 11, there will be a timeout in between it. You can see it was GX calling it.
The last-ditch effort.
Nobody can be surprised at that. Like that previous round was the one they had to win, and it had to be a streak to bring them back into it. Now they're going to be 9-3 at best, and fighting for that at the start with Sheriffs.
It's tough. Realistically, we had expectations of MIBR to be fantastic on this map. Those expectations have not waned, but another reason they picked this map is because it's one that's not very good for GX. So I think that maybe another series they might pick their poison in a different way, like ban this map out and let something else through, but realistically they clearly felt like they could find some strength here, and we're yet to really see it. Luckily, at least historically, Split was also a pretty good map for either of these teams. So although this one might not be going to plan, I don't think it's going to phase the side of GX so much. If you've been watching them throughout the year, when they do find defeats in best of fives, it's always going to 5. They are very good at resetting. They're always good at coming back into a match. But I think they're going to need a tough talk, and maybe they just have one. Maybe there's something that Asuka could have said, and if it was find headshots with the Sheriff, maybe it's working.
That's the first, and Bastarda down to 5.
Yeah.
But how much more can they do? 3 players pushing, 2 on mid, 1 up behind. Yeah, they know about Ness, but the backup here might catch them off guard if they extend. MIBR. Oh! It's going to be Ness to catch them off. Nice kill, and now, okay, players spotted pushing on mid. Sayori needs to win this fight. Flash is good, but Ava, even better. And now 5 HP on Bastarda. She won't last long. It's GX battling back for their second round with a MasterCard Thrifty.
Asuka, what did you say? I need to know. I need to know what you said, that while they're 9-1 down and getting absolutely battered, somehow they managed to win a round with the Sheriff. Maybe it was just give it to them. Like a TP into the opposing team's spawn is always a bit of a bold call. Smurfette getting aggressive as well, but in a round where they had nothing to lose, GX have managed to find
Let's go.
at least a semblance of hope. I said it at the beginning, the last 4 times that MIBR have played this map, they have won their attack half 9-3. Maybe they're looking to make it 5 in a row.
You want to fight it?
Toki in the smoke. I like the aggression this time. Not standing back, not waiting, but taking the fight to them. And look at the difference it has made. They can't even res that player without risking the spam, and now there's 3 players here spamming away is Sarah. Bastarda, though, keeping this one doable, baits them into the fight, but it's a fight that she will not win. 9-3.
Could have seen that coming.
GX with the bare minimum connected, but the real test comes on their attack.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be an awful lot to try and be able to turn this one back. They'll have to prove sort of what extra little bit of depth that they do have ready and waiting for them, but either way, we'll have to wait and see what's coming after the break.
We're so bad.
Welcome back, folks. 9 on the board for MIBR. A solid first half as we get into our Coinbase Econ report. And I think no surprise really as we see Lisa getting the highlight. She had some phenomenal rounds.
I would say there's a few players you could have put up there, honestly. She does end up at the top of the board, but to be honest, it was actually our operator play on Astro that I think I enjoyed the most. So definitely a bit of a peculiar one. Also, you can see she didn't actually buy it. So it was maybe from enemy's hands, or maybe SRN decided wanted to be a little bit more aggressive at the round. But either way, she had a fantastic performance. And we sort of saw the banter back and forth from many different players being terrified to play against Lisa, but for maybe slightly different reasons from what's in the server. It was more what she was doing outside of the server, but I'm sure they're scared of her now in the server as well.
I would imagine so, yeah. 6 rounds to play with here in terms of the lead for MIBR. Quite a lot of wiggle room, and for GX, it's very much the opposite. They have to come in here locked and loaded with an immediate response to MIBR, finding the pistol, finding the follow-up, and then still putting a streak together.
As said, the last time they played this map versus KC, 2-6 attack. The time before that, it was a 1-6 attack. So they almost have to break the mold of how they performed on this map in general if we're going to see a return to form. But they've had the time. They put the work in. Qualified off the points as well, so had a little bit longer a break than some of the other EMEA teams. So you already know that is not the start the GX were looking for. A headshot found through the smoke, trades immediate crossfire, builds, and well, Ness completely stuck in the mud. Ever trying to flank him, but even just retreating back to Melissa. Maybe she's the queen of the early round. Even still though, it's going to be Bastarda to close 10-3, and well, that lifeline of a pistol round, Mitch, it is gone.
Yeah. The first fistful of soil on the coffin at this point. GX being buried alive on this map, and you get to see why MIBR picked it coming into this. Obviously, when we talk about the attack side for GX as well, we don't expect them to bounce back based on history. But at this tournament, this is where you're going to dig deeper than ever, Tom. This is where you're going to push past your limits. But this might not be their limit. I think this is more of a limitation of just general teams. Everyone should be facing that sort of difficulty. We'll see. Pistols could maybe turn the tide. Taking the second round with Classics, that would certainly put them on the right track.
Pushing into Sayori again. She's dodged the flash. It's an early spam. A lot of damage done. A chance, genuinely, to keep things level and pick up a gun or two. That's about as good of a start as you ever could have hoped for with the weapons that were waiting on the other side. And there you go. Ever has managed to retrieve that Guardian. Still, though, 2 rifles and a sniper ready and waiting. This close position could make things interesting. In fact, it has. Down to the 1 versus 1. Ness yet to retrieve any form of weaponry. It would have to be the Classic to do it versus Melissa, who has been the queen of the early round so far. A chance to clutch out around, and well, it will be Ness to do it with the Classic. A MasterCard thrifty to keep GX in the map.
Yeah, I think I said it before this round started. Just no doubt in my mind that GX were capable of taking that one. You know, the Classic buy, it's a dangerous one. How they've gotten away with that is
I don't know if you
mystifying.
Classic buy, if they didn't buy anything.
You don't know, they could have clicked it. You can drop it and buy another one. Always a good strat. But for MIBR, man, like, it's an upsetting round, but they have so many rounds to play with that the bounce back, you know, can take a while even. And they'll still be in a favorable position, but that one's got to sting a little bit. They looked for the fights on main, they got overrun, and in that late fight, the Stinger up close alongside the Guardian did enough damage, losing the 1v1 to the Classic as well. Everything played against them, and now they're down to Classics of their own. GX waiting patiently for that aggression, not going to be caught off as they have been in the past. And what seems to be the most convincing anti-eco of the series for GX so far.
Yeah. Well, it turns out if you wait with all of your players outside one side of the map, and that's the side they push, it normally does go your way. And you can already see, the plan is to just go forward.
They're going to get the plant, though.
Flawless.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just about.
Get the additional orb at least.
A little bit of cash, but I think it's the orb on the other side, yeah, as you say. MIBR being able to find another. It was towards, was it Lisa that got it? It was Cosmic Divide, I think, that they farmed it up on. So, yeah, not the end of the world, not the best. But small boost to GX, 10-5 though. here is where the real game starts, because you've got Hunter's Fury for both teams, just one orb away. You've got rifles being put on the board for MIBR, and what is essentially a full buy for GX, but with a ton of credits left over. If you are going to make that insane comeback, that long road back into the game, this is certainly the best way to start it.
It's given them a decent boost of credits as well, so the chances of having any pieces missing pretty much for the remainder of the map incredibly low.
Recovering it.
Almost feels like they have to break the back of their opponent, waiting patiently up top. Is going to be Sayori. She wanted more than one, and that's exactly what she's found. The rotation in, though, from Melissa didn't get the same sort of value. The advantage now claimed by that attack side, and with the post plant in, okay, they've cleared some of the closer angles with the cam, but it seems like GX have no plans to fight other than to deny that diffuser.
I mean, when you've got the Hunter's Fury as well, why bother? You have to commit a player to watching flank with no traps online, obviously not having a Sentinel. This is a bit scary, though. Now the players come forward as Ness lands 1 and 2 for a triple in the round, and a 6th on the board for GX. They don't even use their Hunter's Fury that's going to be kept for the next, and all things considered, again, it's a lights-out start to this half. They lose the pistol and go 3-1 up in the half. 4 rounds behind, though, still quite a gap.
See that confidence building though. I think one of the bigger factors, we saw even in the last map victory, Ness individually was struggling. She was not having a good game, and I feel like a lot of that was almost off like having to focus more on leading the team. Now though, tops the board for her squad, starting to build into the map, while SRN will meet her maker again at the hands of Ness. Starting to narrow down that gap, and considering the scoreline of 9-1, MIBR might start to feel that pressure. Like, they were so far out of this, they were playing maybe even more aggressively than they ever would, because they were just winning every single fight. You were getting collapsed through smokes, you were getting players who seemed like they couldn't die. But in the second half, they've looked a lot more mortal.
Oh, nice shot. This is where the danger comes into our mind. We've seen this before. Pistols for MIBR. The slow round from GX. The isolated fights. It's shaky, but Toki's done the dirty work. 2 versus 4. Grouping and hitting the site, all that they need to do. And there is a danger for GX that there wasn't for MIBR, which is running into all of that Sentinel utility. But as we can see, there's no Sentinel left to punish that, so they will easily break it, move to site, and grab the plant. The rifle the starter didn't get anything there. I thought there might have been something waiting in mid, and it didn't matter even if there was. Smurfette's too quick finding the kill.
It only came down to a chance for damage, but not going to be happening. Looking much better against these low buys in the last couple, and well, I think it was in the last map that there were only 3 full buy victories for MIBR. They really struggled when the rifles were in hand. It's been a completely different case in the first half of this map, of course. But the fact that, well, the other side of the coin is they were doing well with the low buys, and that now seems to have changed as well. Tactical timeout going to be called for MIBR, and if anything for GX, you're going to be feeling quite happy about that. Like, you were completely knocked out of the park in those first 10 rounds, and now you've managed to force your opponents to actually take you seriously and have a think about what they're going to do to try and stop your flood of rounds back the other way.
Yeah, again, after I saw that second round fall apart, it's like, well, MIBR, they've got so much runway to work with, and almost as much runway as a Fast and Furious movie. But then we come into this, and like 3-round gap momentum there for GX. Issues from the previous map fully corrected. It looks like they found the golden path back into this game. And for MIBR, even feeling that pressure, as you said, is a great sign. For GX, they'll probably come into this thinking, you look at the veto, okay, Haven and Split, we win those, we win the series. That's sort of the win condition. Man, you know, obviously we could get lucky on Abyss, but don't count on it. Starting to get to the point where maybe they could count on it. And this rifle round could be what decides it. Big ults online for both squads again. For MIBR, it's about the economy. They're investing everything into this, and GX will be hot on their heels if they lose this.
Oh yeah, as well. And another point to make is, if you've watched EMEA in the past, you know that GX are probably the most momentum-based team we have in the region. Like, when they get rolling, they're truly terrifying. But if they're slow to start, sometimes they just get absolutely cooked. Well, it seems like they were slow to start, but that momentum has come in late in the game. SRN, though, this is nasty, or could be nasty. Maybe wanted a little bit more. Gonna get caught, boxed in. Just that tiny spot was enough to turn what could have been the play of the round into potentially their own demise.
Take flight.
A push on towards the site. Sayuri will be spotted. The off angles from her have been good so far, but under some pressure. But only from Smurfette. And the rest of the team might have to try and fall off the back of this one. That has not had the result they were hoping for when already having a player advantage.
I think another difficulty with how Bastarda changes up this utility. You never know what site is going to be free to hit into. Now, for GX, the A site was open for a moment. Lisa went back to cover it. And so GX could have found an easy fight over there, but they pumped the brakes. And now MIBR step off the B site. They're expecting that even if this is a B hit, there will be some presence towards middle. And now they know it. With that cam broken, Toki's been spotted, a known factor, and it looks like with 19 seconds left on the clock, MIBR are super happy to play this passive, a large part being because they have this ulti coming in from Sayuri, they have that Hunter's Fury from Melissa, and they have got a flood on the back of it, info falling into their hands, and this plant, it might be found, but defending that spike is a near impossible feat, but they're making it look doable. Down to just one. Ness alone against the Horde. Lisa and Melissa will close this for MIBR and finally put a round up for that defense again.
Yeah, that was a must win. They played into the retake because you look at the ults that they had at the beginning of it, and so you've got the null command, you've got the Hunter's Fury, and you've also got a Cosmic Divide. So if there's a player playing deep, you can just throw that in and basically make their situation null and void. But it's still got dangerously close, even with both of those ults coming in. The fight back from the two on the back side was a decent one. The remaining two, though, doing well to make sure Ness doesn't have another chance to be a hero. 11-7. Combo broken after the pause. And, of course, still 4 rounds in the lead. Only a couple needed to take us to map number 3, which I'll be honest, I thought we would have already been at by now. GX putting up a fight. The gloves are off. Smurfette has the operator. Bear in mind, this kind of works because she can pick up one orb, and that's the Blade Storm in hand.
They're trading out a round loss for those ultis, especially when MIBR are forced into playing it in a way that's difficult for you to counter. Them just waiting for you to make a move and then playing their ultis. It's not a repeatable success. We need to see a different element of this wheelhouse come out, and for GX, op and play for Smurfette, early control towards that A site. They bait out rotations and now look for B. Again, you have the trips in play on B, but Bastarda's changed up where they are. It's much deeper control. The idea being that when they do hit those trips, it's not for info, it's for SRN to get 2 kills.
Yeah, the kill trips in play.
And look how far back Bastarda's playing as well.
Because of that null command. They know that that's going to be coming in, so it's all a plan to set up SRN, who's actually going to be playing on the edge of the smoke, has been hit, so no dash available, and it's not pretty. SRN has had a couple of moments over the last few rounds where it seemed like she was going to be the playmaker, instead has been the one to be played.
For GX, no better a time for this to happen. Sarah just about makes it back, throws the knife in, at least manages to suppress 1 or 2. The utility coming out from MIBR as they now look to flood. This is a big fight though. 4 players still in main for GX. They lose the first in the form of Ness, but not before the trades come in, not before she draws blood, and with Lisa left alone, it will be a convincing hold from GX. Damage done, but only 1 player falling, and they're right back to winning ways.
Yeah, it does feel like the last couple of rounds, like there has been a play made by MIBR. I think it was maybe around 17 and around 19. And both times SRM was put in the position to succeed and didn't. And that's a rarity. Like we saw even in the last map where they tasted defeat that SRM was always a constant factor. Well, they're going to need her to be a constant factor here once again with the Blade Storm. The only real danger was almost removed immediately. Oh, a nasty first knife. We'll go straight into the dome of Smurfette.
It's definitely looking like a tough round for MIBR even with that dub, but again, those low buys backed up now by a Blade Storm. Man advantage already in play, and MIBR are rotating around. They're changing it up, sending SRN towards the A site. Not only SRM, but Melissa as well, so you've got that reveal to work with. The hope here that GX set themselves up for that take late. I think they might even do so. You can see Ava going for this deep control. This is a very risky round to go for these flank plays, though, to go deep into spawn. Like, not only are you risking being overwhelmed from all these angles, but if you go down, that's a rifle picked up by your opponents. The Blade Storm's already spotted her. Eva somehow still alive, but will be dropped, and now a big upgrade in play. Won't be taken by SRN, instead Sayori. And a 5 versus 2 that maybe even looks favorable to MIBR now.
Good thing will be for GX. They'll have a plant available. SRM from above has actually managed to take down one. Toki fighting has done a lot of damage, but it's left onto Ness. You mentioned the step up that she's had. The performance she's been putting in while leading the team, and now opts for a reposition. The risk, though, the smoke is still in play. An opportunity as they go to fight, but she will take down both! The Loch Ness Monster returns for the Red Bull clutch.
MIBR must have felt like, finally, this is our round. A 5v3, a rifle recovered, a Blade Storm still online for SRN. That weapon gifted to them, and SRN even finds a third. Toki runs out of ammo on the spray, everything set them up for success, and that little spray, it saves the day for GX. It keeps the climb in their favor, 9-11, a 2-round gap. I was a believer in GX today, Tom, but after that 9-1 start, it seemed impossible, but here we are, a reality of their own making.
You are a delusional man at times, but even you weren't that delusional to believe they could turn this back, but somehow, oh, maybe they just were. Maybe enough. Still, the lead sits with our opponent. Still, it's not going to be easy. And a flash that's helped out Ness there again. But the reveal's helping out. Bastarda still within this smoke, still looking to cause them issues. Ness has found another, but the trade is there once again. Ness is looking to do it all. The clutch seemingly bringing her to an even different level than what we saw throughout this map so far. Looking to try and lead the charge. A first map to forget, maybe a second map to remember.
Well, SRN still online and already spotted one. Rifle recovered, Ness down, and it's Sarah who has to clutch it out. Lisa gets MIBR a 12th. Walking through that smoke for the quick trade. And disaster avoided here by MIBR, at least locking in an overtime. But this game has been just delivering on another level. Individual stepping up. As you said, Ness, a performance we haven't seen from her in this series so far. Really seems to have woken up and found a taste for blood, I suppose, but off recovered, and MIBR with 3 chances to bring us all the way to split.
Oh, shit, Auntie. My bad, I couldn't kill him. My bad.
Considering as well, they were 9-1 down. She is now top of the board, 21-15. It just shows how much impact she has been having while also leading the squad at the same time. It is a skill that many hope to have. An early flash, an early peek, the spam on the other side from Sayori. And interestingly, look at the buy that's in for MIBR. This is not what I was expecting after the previous round.
I like it, though. When you've got 3 rounds to play with 3 chances,
They have a lot more than 3. I don't know if I'd want to give one away for free.
Yeah, but then playing in on a mixed buy for multiple rounds,
Maybe.
better to just come in strong, believe in yourself. An operator finding one. Oh, hold on! They might not need to worry about the future. Well, that's our end down, though. This becomes difficult. Lisa and Bastarda, well, 2 players that you certainly believe in, regardless of the weapon in their hands. The
Operator for Lisa,
one
I
shot
definitely believe
headshots
now.
and 1 shot to the body for Lisa. In comes Bastarda with the Guardian in play. Almost had the right angle. That would have been a freebie onto Eva, who has no idea.
That's the spike as
There's a
well.
player right
30
above her.
seconds left.
And with 30 seconds and a complete freeze from GX, it looked for a moment like MIBR would start to step away from this site.
Yeah, they're trying to find themselves
Spot planted.
safe spot. Maybe even trying to wait for a smoke to be online. Lisa's weaponry now becomes a slight bit less valuable. She's going to be the one to try and take charge in the front of the smoke, maybe give an opportunity as they wait. A nice shot from Bastarda, though, has definitely made this a little bit more interesting. Toki waiting, the fake smoke doesn't work, and it's Eva to potentially close from the top line. A 10th round for GX, but as was pointed out, that was only a couple of saved weapons. Even after the victory, didn't want to send their entire economy into this one. So you sort of mentioned not wanting to go in with a couple of half buys. I am actually looking at, for now at least, there's a couple of Guardians in there, so they kind of have.
They invested too much. Yeah, listen, that's suboptimal. And they almost managed to win the round as well. Maybe you're right.
Maybe we'll see them sell and buy some light shields. It's
Second
possible,
initiative.
especially
Shoot
with the
somebody.
timeout that's about to come through. Another opportunity for Coach Pletz to talk this one over. And I believe the last time that we did see the pause come through, it was a combo breaker. It was the next round that they managed to win.
Yeah.
Well, if they win either of the next 2, the job that seemed to be done in half number 1 will eventually be finished.
But I think it's worth mentioning at this point for GX, like, you know, 9-1 down is somewhere that you got to always believe that you can come back. And we've seen teams, you know, there's plenty of them out there who've made even more convincing comebacks or more convincing
Even
games
on
for their
this map.
opponents. Yes, exactly. Exactly. More than 9-1, I'll tell you that. But the reality is, it feels like when you're 9-1 down, the best you can do is wish on a fallen star, and that never did me any good. But for GX, it certainly has brought them back into the game. 10-12, and I think that will stand to them if they do lose here, because it's not like they got absolutely smashed. They know, hey, if we played even 10% better in that first half,
Yeah.
it's a different game altogether. And then they move on to Split, where they'll feel much more comfortable. Again, this was not the map that they came into today thinking, we're going to push MIBR to their limits, and they have.
I guess the only counter to that, though, like, you're going to have the relief for MIBR if they close it, but also you'll now be disappointed if you're GX. If you get blown out, you kind of go, okay, that went badly, but you bring it all the way back and then lose? No one enjoys a fake comeback. 2 rounds needed, 1 for the side of MIBR to close it. They have come in, switch things up for the most part, but they do still have themselves a couple of Guardians instead. As said, they haven't got the perfect buy even after waiting.
Oh, the dive's already come through. Smurfette up close looking for the fight, but will be dropped as SRN falls. The Jet's already out of play, but it's GX with a flurry of frags to find themselves a massive advantage. MIBR have Bastarda and Melissa again. Ness still drawing breath. The rest of the squad, sure, some are tagged up, but they don't need to fight. It's a little bit risky. In a 1v3, it looks like they've already got the dub. Economy low for MIBR, and saving this rifle now seems far more economical than going for a 1 versus 3. Regardless of how close Bastarda's made those rounds in the past, the stakes here, they are pretty high compared to that first map. MIBR now facing a potential overtime as the next round is going to see its fair share of weaknesses. I think maybe more excitingly, a Blade Storm for Smurfette. I think a scary thing to face off against, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, in a lot of cases, in a lot of these rounds, she's been the one like sort of diving in to take the space, and then it's been the rest of the supporting cast that have been able to sort of pick up a lot of these rounds. Super impressed with the level that we're seeing across the board, but the fact is for MIBR, some of those superstars have gone a little bit quieter on the defense. And now they're really going to need them because this buy, well, it stinks. It's a singular rifle that will be coming up for SRN, and then the rest of the players are down to SMGs and pistols. In the last map, that was where they were winning it, but as was all mentioned, in this map, it's not really been the case. I think GX, especially on this attack side, have done a lot better a job.
Yeah, MIBR seemingly cursed in this half now on the pistols, but this is where they've done so much damage in the past. Hunter's Fury there for Melissa. Smurfette able to make it to the site luckily, but the challenge from MIBR will come in later. Playing to deny that plant, and Toki watching for that, gets caught off, completely deleted by the Hunter's Fury too. GX want to respond with a deep push towards the spawn. Smurfette has an angle, but the Blade Storm doesn't land. It's a disaster. Falling seemingly at the final hurdle as a 5 versus 3 comes into play. Rifles recovered for MIBR as well. They are fighting with weapons now. No weaknesses left, and it's falling across the board for GX. Ness left to pick up the pieces. It's close, but one shot away from OT. Instead, map number 3 locked in with a last-second win for MIBR.